So this has to be one of the most ridiculous questions that black women who go to Korea often get. And it's, do Korean men like black women? Well, first off, Korean men are just men. And second of all, why does it matter? Why do you need approval from a whole ethnic group of people as to whether or not they're going to find your racial background to be attractive? I feel like that's some insecurity there that you really need to evaluate. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that as like, nah, brah. Like there's something there and it needs to be addressed. Korea does have this weird jungle fever type thing going on. Like there's a lot of younger Korean guys who look like wannabe light-skinned black men right now. And if you've been to Korea, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like they got the perm so that their hair looks like it's 4C when really it's just fried, so they can get braids and dread mats because their hair doesn't lock. And you know, the swag, hashtag swag. I listen to American SoundCloud people, and I think that that's what the average black person actually listens to and appreciate, and I don't really know anything about black culture, but I'm going to talk like I do. They're blackaboos, essentially. And they do give weird looks towards black women when you're walking around, and it's real uncomfortable, and I stayed away from them and just minded my own business. But you being fetishized isn't a compliment. All of those men are fetishist. Like, that's not cute. That's like a Korean being happy that they're dating a Korea boo. Like, that's not, huh? It's not that hard. What? And you really shouldn't be thinking about different ethnic backgrounds and different racial backgrounds as a monolith either, because people either go to one extreme or the other. They say Koreans hate foreigners, they never date a foreigner. Oh, do you know how Korean families are like? They would never allow their kid to date a foreigner. And then there's the other half where it's like, oh my god, this K-pop idol said that like pale skin isn't like the only way to be beautiful. He loves black women. Yay. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's just two extremes, and it doesn't make any sense. For one, for you to care so much, and two, for you to actually think that that's a valid thing to think about. I'd understand if it was like a little kid, and I say little kid as in like anyone under the age of like 16, I'd get it. But like older than that, you should know better by now. And maybe it's because I've just been around so many different ethnic backgrounds and racial backgrounds that I'm capable of not looking at people like a monolith. But y'all need to stop that. It's like asking, do white men like black girls? Doesn't matter. And it doesn't really care. There's white dudes that will say that they would never touch a black woman, even though they're the type that would usually get offended if a black woman were to say that they never date a white man. But that's a conversation for another day. And there's white men that say, I love black women, which is really, really, really fetishy. And then there's the other white men that are just like, well, I don't really care what race my girlfriend is. I just want her to be a kind person and have qualities that mesh well with mine, and for us to just be in a happy, healthy relationship. I've been accused of only liking Asian men since middle school, when I went back to the town I moved to after moving from Flint, which is my hometown. Yes, that Flint, Michigan. And even though like I liked 90s Leonardo DiCaprio, 80s, 90s Johnny Depp, and all this other white boys, black boys, all the boys, they still accused me of having a fetish for Korean men anyway. I end up having a crush on a Korean American in high school, and it just really drove it home that I'm just some Asian fetishist, and no matter what I said and no matter what I did, people insisted anyway, because a part of it was that men who weren't Asian wanted to make the excuse that I wouldn't date them because I'd only date Asians, and then the other half of it is that girls would tell guys this out of the hopes that they wouldn't look at me as an option. It gets real intersectional with that. And it's something that I've had to struggle with socially because it is very exhausting to constantly be accused of basically hating yourself as a black person when all you ever do is stand up for you and your classmates, and you are the loudest person in the room when it comes to civil rights, and you have the white kids in class, the townies, screeching in your face about something racial, and you're the only one who really stands up and speaks up, and yet your own community still accuses you of hating yourself anyway out of their own self-insecurity. Hurts real bad. So I'm not the first one to say that all because you're dating outside your race, it means that you like that race. All because you're dating a white boy don't mean that you like white boys. All because you're dating a black boy don't mean you like black boys. Honestly, don't worry about it. Because if a guy doesn't like black women, why would you want to be with that kind of guy to begin with? Why would you want that? Because to date a black person, especially an African American person, and the way that we're treated by other black people, I'm half Dominican, so I know how other black people act towards African Americans. Half African American, half Dominican. I've had a lot of social struggles. And if they can't respect you and your culture and your people's struggles, the fact that you're slave descent, and the fact that you aren't going to keep your mouth shut about your struggles and your issues, you have no business being with that person. And all because they're Korean, it doesn't make them a prize either. Because the moment I found out the guy I had a crush on in junior year was running around saying the N-word, but then he'd act weird towards a black girl, that's a whole other situation. I'll make a story time eventually. I was already done with him to begin with because he did something stupid. Again, it's going to be in the story time. But it drove it real home about what kind of person he is. Don't date people just because they're a certain ethnic background. And don't stress whether or not an entire ethnic background, which is right there, just doesn't make any sense, would like you or not. Because you don't need validation from others. You need to sit down and you need to look at yourself, and you need to be like, if someone doesn't like me based off my race, then screw them, because they're not a person that you'd want to be with. Why would you want to be with a person that's that disgusting, that they would look down at you solely because of your race? That doesn't make any sense. That's not cute. That's not kawaii. That's not anything. It's not acceptable. Whether it be Japanese men or Korean men, because those are the Asian men that get asked the most as to whether or not they would date outside of their race, because weeaboos and Koreaboos exist. It don't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself, and how you feel when you look in the mirror, and how you feel when you wake up in the morning, and when you get dressed, and when you go to sleep, and take a shower, wash your butt, whatever. Your day-to-day fifis about yourself is what matters more so than what a dude would care about for a racial preference. No one should be getting excited because a male K-pop idol said that, oh, I don't mind dating outside my race, as if you know that's the truth or not, because celebrities lie. And K-pop is trying their bestest to become mainstream in the Western realm, specifically America. I doubt that that's ever going to truly happen, but they're trying their hardest to appeal to an international audience, and so they're going to say anything that's going to fit that international audience. I'm not accusing them of automatically lying when they say it, but again, because people go to extremes where they say, oh, well, they'd only want a Korean girl because Koreans, no. it depends on the individual because people are not a monolith. You can say that culture has influence, yes, but that's also just to say that it's only been recent that white men would ever think to date a black girl because now all of a sudden everyone and their mama wants to be black without the consequences of being black. Like, no, that's not cute. That's not anything. That's not real. You need to think about you and what's going on with you, because regardless of how anyone feels about your race, as long as they're not affecting your day-to-day life, they don't matter. So don't stress about it. Don't get all hyped up just because one Korean dude said that he dated a black girl. It makes us look real desperate, and it's not cute. I don't want to be reflected that way. I've never dated before in my life, and I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm okay. I've had 21 years of life experience. I'm living my best life. I've done a lot of great things over 2017 and into 2018, and I've been A-okay without it. I don't need... There's already Korean American dudes, I know because I've met them, that are getting uppity whenever they hear a black person say that they like K-pop and they act a fool. I don't want any more trouble because some of you have some serious insecurity issues that you really just need to address. I understand just being curious and then being insecure because, again, people have a very hard time about how they screech about how you can't talk about their ethnic background and their racial background like it's a monolith, but then they talk about others like it's a monolith. Like, that, make that connection and be like, oh, that's not okay. And I'm not demonizing any of you who have ever had this question. I am merely just trying to explain to you why that question is just entirely unnecessary and never has ever made sense to me since I was a little kid. I never understood why people would ask whether or not a race or ethnic background would like another race or another ethnic background, because there's black girls out there that love Justin Bieber, and I'm black behind when I mess with no Justin Bieber. So we are not a monolith. You cannot place people in a position to which they have to be the ultimate representative of the rest of their race. You need to not worry about whether or not someone's gonna like a black girl, because if they don't like a black girl, then they ain't nothing. And that's it. Tell you the truth. That's my TED Talk of the day. Thank you for attending. I'm not being paid for this, unfortunately, but thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it. That's over. I'm done. I've ranted for the day. My whole body's sore because I was exercising for an hour yesterday. I know that's not much, but I haven't exercised for a while, so I'm a mess. And if you would like more content, you can press the subscribe button, you can press the like button, and you can leave a comment about instances where either you met a trifling Korean dude or whether you've met trifling Korea boos or whatever has been annoying you about the black woman interaction with K-pop and all this other madness. And I also have an Instagram, a fashion Amino, and, well, Facebook, I don't know. I'll leave links or something in the description, but you can follow me through all that if you want to. You don't have to, but it'd be nice if you did. And I'm going back to school, so it's going to be a minute until I make another video, but that will be like probably 2 weeks from now, so it's really not that long of a time. I've spent 3 months without posting videos before. Okay, leave your comments or questions or whatever you want down below, and I'll see you the next time that I decide to throw a wig on my head, and good day.